7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome. I'm Greg, and John is not a question mark. He's sitting there somewhere in the background. He was around a minute ago. We've been having some fun, as we always do. This is Oz by Drone. You're watching Oz by Drone live, and we're back after our internet outage last week. The internet's working today. Hopefully we can get our co-host in there in a couple of minutes as well. Spike, if you're watching, John did make it a couple of minutes ago, but he's having some tech challenges. So let's just click that button as well. Spike, John did make it a couple of moments ago and he's back. So thank you for being an almost backup. Thanks, Spike. I appreciate it. Anyway, our internet is working today, so hopefully we can make it to the end of our show in one piece. This has been a crazy week in the drone community. The Gatwick incident has been a PR nightmare for the drone community. We'll talk about Gatwick a little bit later. As in a couple of moments, John, you're already on air, just so you know, but he's joining us a little bit late. He had some stuff that was affecting him a few minutes ago, so we'll stand by for John to be back with us in a moment. Before then, before we go any further, a couple of quick messages. During the show, we normally like to try and have chat on the screen. We normally like to have chat on the screen, and it's impossible for us to follow the chat. So if you want to answer a question, try putting #question to get our attention. It may help. One more quick request. If you do like the show, press the thumbs up button during the show. It would help a lot if you could tweet out a link to the show or post it in Facebook. Tell your followers that you're watching. Thank you very much in advance for that. Anyway, before we do anything else, we're going to get into the news, but what I might actually do first... John's disappeared again. Spike has come back. Oh, we're having fun here this morning. Welcome to the internet. What is that Kev, are you there? You can talk to me as well. I can hear you. No one else can hear you, but what are you trying to say? Oh, they're doing sign language to each other. Okay, okay. Look, we are going to get into the news. I don't know what's happening with John. We've got Spike in there at the moment. Spike, we're going to put you up on screen while we're waiting for John. Let's do that now.
Good ear.
There we go. Now, my producer will need to mix minus Spike, but while we're waiting for John or Spike or something to happen...
Yeah, I'm here.
Let's get into the news. So, now with all of that, I'm totally disorganized now.
It's all beautiful, man. The world is good.
The world is very good, Spike. Let's get into the news. As always, I want to thank Jeff Sills. Jeff has always helped us out by putting together the content. And to my producer, the shot A1 is missing from the screen. A1. There we go. Try one more time. Click and enter. And there we go. Let's get into the news.
The news. Okay.
Yeah, thanks to Jeff Sills. He always helps us out week after week, and he does a great job. We'll get rid of shot B2 because the chat is not working, and we'll then get into our first story. And the title of this one is Holy Cow. Our first story takes a drone's eye view of Christmas. Over time, Christmas messages have become more and more creative. This particular Christmas greeting video shows a herd of cattle lining up in the shape of a cross on Christmas Day. Now, some people might suggest that this was created in a video animation or editing tool, but we hear the video has not been done on a computer. It was really shot, and it was shot from a drone. It certainly is an incredible sight. And Laura Drusher took the video at her dad Ralph's farm in Balfour, North Dakota. The family said that they put some feed out for the cows in the shape of the cross, and the cows' stomachs did the rest. Let's have a look at that video. It certainly is an incredible sight, and Laura Drusher took the video at her dad. And that was a very, very short Christmas video. And as you saw there, Spike, we had the cows lined up in the shape of the cross. Now, that is one Christmas message that I would say definitely is no bull.
Noble, eh?
Look, it was cute. It was creative. Have you had any interesting Christmas greeting cards this year?
No, no Christmas greeting cards. There was a pigeon that came close to shitting on me, but that was all right, you know.
Okay. Moving on from that, by the way, we're just going to get rid of, I've got echo in my ear from Spike. So to my producer, get into Spike's audio and tab 5, and it's not there. So where is it?
That's okay. G'day everyone in the chat anyway, while Greg's working it all out in the head studio there. It's fantastic to have you here this special time of the year. I can see that our super guest is there, and my Christmas hat is gone. I'm here just backing up. I was searching, having a look on the internet, just like you are, guys. And g'day Rick in the chat there, Mel, all the awesome people this time of year. Really, really good to have you here. And I just want to let you all know too, our guest, man, wow. I'll leave it up to Greg to introduce him.
I will in a little bit. We've got some absolutely amazing footage, and one of them I actually didn't think was real, and I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, moving on to story number 2 for today. Our connected world depends on satellites, but once they're in orbit, they offer very little flexibility for fluid situations on the ground. A 10-metre prototype of this aircraft recently reached maximum altitude in testing. The aircraft is designed to offer a reactive alternative to a low Earth orbit, I got it right, thanks to its maneuverability. The drone's autopilot controls the flexible wings, adjusting lift to allow equal distribution of structural load across the wing. And of course, this is designed to cope with turbulence during long missions. So let's have a look. And
looks good, Greg.
It's pretty boring until we press the play button.
So what we're looking at here, Greg?
So this aircraft is called the Apis Duo. And as I mentioned, it's a low Earth orbit. Can you say that 10 times quickly? Low Earth orbit aircraft. So if you can imagine a drone that's going to stay up in the air for a really, really long time. But the cool thing about this, it's got the ability to flex its wings.
Awesome.
Right, so from a structural perspective, you know, you've got a controller on there doing all of that manipulation.
Yeah. So there's somebody on the ground operating this.
I don't know if it's a combination. I'm sure there is someone on the ground operating, and then Spike's disappeared off the screen, and everyone's disappearing today. So there is someone on the ground operating it, definitely from an overall flight perspective, but I think a lot of there'll be a lot of automation in there as well. And it's solar powered as well. Yeah, I'm just waiting till we start having consumer drones going out into space and visiting the moon. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll leave that there. You've got the idea with that one, and certainly if people want to read more about that or watch more video footage of that, all of our stories, we've got links in the description to the people who created those original stories. Just a quick message while I'm here, just before I move on to Mel. Obviously the chat stuff wasn't working today. Again, I'm going to give up on that chat thing. It looks really, really cool having some chat pop-ups, but it just doesn't work. It's too unreliable. Let's move on. The next story of the day today, we've got something out of Vanuatu, which is a really, really cool story relating to drones. And in Vanuatu, they've got, in the village of Cook's Bay, on the remote side of the remote island of Eromango, in the remote South Pacific nation of Vanuatu, 1-month-old Joy Naui was given hepatitis and tuberculosis shots delivered by a flying drone on Monday.
Wow.
Aussie drone company Swoop Aero is helping to deliver Vanuatu's fully drone-dependent childhood vaccine program, the first of its kind in the world.
This is great. This is so...
The one thing they can't get rid of, even with the drones, is the little bit of crying at the end.
I was wondering, because I'm not hearing that audio, and I was wondering if there was audio during that. But
yeah,
isn't that fantastic, eh?
Absolutely.
Where, you know, it's hard to get to, and having that, it's just, I love it. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is really, really cool. So speaking of the good things about drones, we'll move from that on to the next one. In one of the world's most advanced drone delivery tests, sunscreen and burritos arrived in minutes, as do complaints about the noise and the mess. Robin McIntyre lives on the outskirts of Australia's capital, and she was in her family room a few months ago when she thought she heard, to use her words, a chainsaw gone ballistic. It was actually a drone on its way to deliver a burrito or a coffee as part of a test from Wing, which, like Google, is a subsidiary of Alphabet Incorporated. One recent day, she said delivery drones flew over her house about 10 times in 2.5 hours, making it difficult to focus on working or reading the newspaper. Now, we've got something that's a video directly from Google, and I'd like to play a bit of that for the moment. Let's have a look.
Project Wing is aiming to transform transportation. We want to make it easy, cheaper, more environmentally friendly to receive packages.
And your mic is still live, Spike.
And if we can increase the access and availability of items to anyone across the globe, whether you're in a disaster zone or you're stuck at home at night and need some medicine for a child, whatever it may happen to be, we aim to make it easy and effective to receive things in a moment's notice.
Now, the reason there is some audio there, I'm just going to mute it for a little while. The reason why I want to play this video in a couple of moments, we're going to see someone who's, was skeptical about it before. And she's got animals on her farm, on her property, doing alpaca farming. And in a couple of moments, we're going to see this lady here. Here we go.
For me, as a merchant, if we were able to get drone delivery out here, it would be fantastic for my business, because we do not get couriers that will come out here. They complain that it's too far out. Some have just refused completely.
We are very limited in our time that we have at home, and when I do have to go to town because I've run out of something or forgotten something, it is quite painful. So having this service for those that are time poor would be a fantastic thing.
You could be in the middle of a paddock in a real farming situation, and instead of packing up and going home for the day, that could be there in 10 minutes. You could be flown in and you put it on whatever you got to fix, and then you keep going. And the convenience of that is just, endless.
We were initially apprehensive. The main concern, I guess, was that the animals might be affected in the area, and especially our sheep and alpacas. So I watched the animals when they first arrived, and the alpacas were looking alert initially, not frightened, just alert, because there was new noise around. And then on the second delivery, the drone came down, the alpacas didn't even lift their heads, and half the sheep were just, looking at it. So it was very straightforward.
Yeah. So that's the point. You've got those alpaca animals there. They were a little bit, to use her words, alert when the drone first came by. But after that initial, experience, they certainly got used to it very quickly. So let's leave that video there, and we'll have a look at the next story in a couple of moments. But here's what I want to say about that, right? So ultimately, the lady who's complaining, I don't know her, I don't know where she lives, but let's assume it's a rural community and she's not used to having noise next to her, and she's talking about chainsaws. Well, if you live in the city, you've got chainsaws going down the street every day in the form of cars, trucks, motorbikes. If you live near Spike, you're going to hear his three-wheeler going down next to you. And it's going to be louder than a drone. So if people want deliveries to their remote properties, they're going to have to get used to a little bit of noise. Is a drone worse than land transport? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be any worse. Certainly when the drone is at altitude at, if you're at 400 feet, it's not going to be a particularly loud experience. But in that last mile when it's coming in for a landing, it's definitely going to make some noise. What say you, Spike?
I think it's like anything new, isn't it, Greg? It's just something that we need to get used to, really. It is. It's like anything, like you were saying, as is altitude, as we all know, the noise is very, very quiet. A car driving past the front door or in the street will be heard prior to that. But when the landing process, the drop off and then take off, albeit say less than 5 minutes, I can't see that being too much of a problem, really.
Yeah, and the other thing, these are VTOL aircraft, vertical takeoff and landing. So once they are actually at altitude, they're not going to be using the props pushing air down. They're going to be using it for forward propulsion, and that's going to be a lot quieter as well.
Yes.
So it will be noisy during takeoff and landing. I think that's a reasonable kind of expectation. But what do you think in the chat? Love to hear your comments on that.
I mean, like as I said before, it's like anything new. It's just something to get used to. I mean, we, of course, being a drone enthusiasts as we are going to be a little bit biased towards the drone. But I guess it is important as well to respect the community.
Absolutely.
At large and work together with everybody. So, I mean, there may be like with the motorbikes, we have to put baffles in the exhaust to quieten it down.
And there's Spike. He'll be back in a couple of moments. But while we're waiting for him to come back, let's go with the next story.
The noise of the drone.
He's back. You disappeared for a moment there, Spike, but let's move on.
Okay.
So I've heard that some men have been asked to make a choice between their partner and their drone. One brave man in Ghana has used a drone to replace the function of a best man to deliver the wedding rings at the altar. Now, this is an interesting one. Let's just play that clip. Yeah, so that's something a little bit unusual. Now, I wonder if there's a subliminal message in there. I don't know how much I can say because my wife is my producer over here, but I maybe wonder if I brought a drone to our wedding and said, don't ask me to choose between my drone and you because they're both going to be here. Anyway, no, it's all fun and it's all fun. It's all good.
Yeah. I think,
but of course, I'd always choose you, darling.
Yeah. It's to buy the wife a drone.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, awesome.
So moving from that, when we talk about drones, most time people think about airborne devices. However, there's also underwater and land-based unmanned devices. What has been a challenge is the ability to transition from one medium to another. The Navigator is part of a submarine and part aircraft. It can seamlessly dip into the water, explore, and then ascend and navigate into the air. This type of design would support a military threat assessment, industrial asset inspection, and risk analysis, or even a fisherman finding the best fishing locations from the comfort of your houseboat. Now, if John was here, he'd be on his houseboat right now. But let's just have a look.
The Navigator for the capabilities of Navy and air. It's a drone that is able to fly and also maneuver underwater. So it's literally a new device that was not available before. So we were very lucky to get the Office of Naval Research to fund this work.
We usually never see vehicles that can operate in multiple environments. We only see ones that operate in either air, water. This vehicle, you can actually take it in many environments.
They have submarines that can launch things from the submarine and it pops out into the water and it goes, does some things, but it can't come back, right? It does one mission and one mission only. And then you have some airplanes that deploy vehicles from the air that dive into the water, and then from then on they're in the water, they can't come back out. So what this vehicle does is it does all those things. It can get out from underwater and it can go into the water from the air. So effectively it can do all sorts of missions.
So literally you have a threat or you have a mission to accomplish, you release the vehicle from a bridge, from a boat. It travels some distance, goes underwater, does the job, comes back. So it's rapid deployment, I think is a key word in there. Oh, they have a number of...
So an interesting story there. And, you know, I think just looking at the video footage, the one thing that's confusing to me is you can see that kind of tether that's on there. I don't know personally, I haven't been able to find answers what the tether is for. Is that a control line for when it's underwater because the RF doesn't work so well underwater? Or is it potentially something that they're using to put some air in to help float it when they want to get it back to the surface? Maybe in a later version, because this is only a prototype, maybe in a later version they can use some compressed air in a canister or something, if that's what it's for. It'd be interesting to find out exactly the purpose of that tether line, but at the moment we don't know.
No, it's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, James Bond, eat your heart out from the air into the water. It's good analysis what you were saying there about that cord, but I'd have to say that I don't know. Yeah, it's got me baffled, that one.
Yeah, I'll do a bit more reading and see if I can even write to the people who developed that. Maybe have them on as a guest at some point in the future.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd say that those props would act as like props underwater as well for its propulsion. You know?
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. But the question is, what is that line for? I don't know. Yeah. It may be.
As you were saying, it's a prototype and it's an early stage. It's probably just like an umbilical cord. You know, little baby needs to cut that cord.
Absolutely. So going from that, our next story. An Australian startup, Aquabotics, this week signed an agreement with French defence multinational Thales to research and design mine countermeasures using aquatic drone technology. The project will focus on Aquabotics' swarming drone technology known as Swarm Diver. The Swarm Diver is a micro-aquatic drone that can tackle surface and underwater missions as a single vehicle or in a swarm. So you can think of this one as basically little miniature submarines, but instead of being one submarine, it's a bunch of submarines all able to be controlled and talk to each other and network and work out where they want to go as part of a swarm mission. So kind of cool tech.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? It's like the future is now.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of military applications in terms of hunting and finding mines that are going to be out there. Not that we're in the kind of a military scenario that might have been around many, many years ago with large parts of the water mined, but still useful to know that it's there.
Yeah, I was just sort of looking at what that last couple of those clips were. It looked like really good for underwater survey as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, robots are definitely going to be taking over a lot of human tasks in the future, I reckon.
If we have a look at, for example, the MH370 kind of thing, if we could just send out a swarm of those to go and scout a particular large part of the ocean floor, how good would that be?
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, now we've got one more story, and where are we? I pressed a button and my notes have disappeared.
Blown off the table.
Yeah, let me just find a old-fashioned hard copy version of it. So in this story, it's well known that insurgent groups have been using unmanned aircraft as weapons or to keep an eye on military personnel. During a recent showcase of counter-drone weapons at the White Sands Military Range in New Mexico, Air Force Research Laboratory official Tom Lockhart and his team demonstrated some directed energy weapons, as a sample of counter-UAV operations in development at the Pentagon. Now, some of you may have been watchers on Ken's show, Ken Heron's show. He's already showcased this video.
Exploring the capabilities that...
And certainly, yes, there are lasers, as Ken would say.
Aircraft system threats, small, man-portable systems. Air Force has 3 major areas: air-based defense, precision engagement, and aircraft self-protect. This is the first, probably near-term, low-hanging fruit that we can actually get after as we start opening up the bottleneck for directed energy, transitioning it from the S&T side of the house to operationalizing it. Yeah, so we have a high-power microwave system and a high-energy laser system. Both came out. We looked at and are exploring the capabilities that both have to offer independently, as well as a joint look in engagement. So your laser engagement is really going to be a thermal energy disposition on the target. So you require that energy to heat up on that target to be able to destroy it.
So you heard the laser comment. Most of the time we actually...
So as you can see there, just basically shooting them out of the sky, kind of the drone equivalent of Star Wars, but they've got a second device that they use as well, which is a microwave-based device. So instead of just heating it up until it fries and drops, the microwave is going to interrupt the circuitry and confuse it, and it's not going to know which way is up or which way is down. So really interesting technology, and obviously in some of the more hostile parts of the world, useful technology for the Allies to have in defeating and defending themselves. Yeah. So that's all the news that we've got for today, and now it's time to move on and welcome our guest, Kevin from Driving Drones. Welcome.
Yeah.
We can't hear you yet. I'll just get the audio shot changed. Take 2. There we go. Hey, how you doing?
Can you hear me now? Hello, how are we?
I can hear you, and I hope everyone else can as well. There we go. So welcome. Where are you from, Kevin? Tell us about yourself.
Right, I'm Kev. I'm from the UK. I live...
You live on the other side of the planet where we're having a lot of fun with our internet today. Now, Spiker's famous for his internet dropping out, but we're also having some challenges with Kev today. Where are you from, Kev?
I'm from Wiltshire in the UK, not far from Stonehenge. Mm-hmm. And I've lived down south for pretty much all my life, but I'm originally from north of England in a place called Leeds. Okay. So, but of course, Southampton's famous for the cruise ships and Titanic and everything like that, and the Spitfire.
Yeah, absolutely. And how long you been flying for?
Well, I flew originally in 2013. I got the Parrot AR drone, the original one, which flew away. And I saved up and bought myself that little baby in the background there.
Yeah. Okay. Just hang on a second. I'm just checking your audio. Can you just talk again? I can hear Spike very loudly. I'm trying to get rid of Spike's audio.
I'm not saying anything. Yeah, good, man. Tell us all about you, man. Tell us, like, what's the time there, man?
It is coming up 12:30 midnight, so it's late. I've been up since dead early. I've been moving over Christmas, so I'm absolutely shattered, which is why I just have yet. I now own a little bit of the UK. It's great. How are we, Greg? How are we getting on?
Okay, I can hear you now, and I've managed to put a cork in Spike so that we can't hear him anymore. Woohoo! And then Kevin disappears. This is just classic internet in Australia. Okay, look, and we're back in the room. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with a video. We had a really good start to the show, and then it started going off. The first thing we're going to do is have a look at one of your videos. So speaking of Southampton and cruise ships, let's have a look at that one. So tell me where this is. What are we looking at?
Right. This little scene here is a place called Hythe. It's on the other side of Southampton Water. This is the main dock area of Southampton. Just in front of you where you see that little tug ship, that's where Titanic sailed from. Right from the centre of the screen there.
Okay.
These are just the local ferries. These go from Southampton to the Isle of Wight, which is a tiny little island just on the south coast. And they run a couple of these big car ferries, and they've got a couple of hydrofoils and all sorts running between Southampton and the Isle of Wight.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the big ships in a minute. This was just testing the camera and making the most of that sunset, which was beautiful.
So how long did you say you were flying for?
Since January last year.
So not that long in the big scheme of things. Yeah.
No. I watched Ken and all the other guys on YouTube, and I couldn't wait to get a Phantom. I decided that was the one I wanted. So
yeah,
saved my pennies hard, and it's learning the camera and the editing. It's not just the drone flying; it's everything in between, and it's been great to learn. It really has. I've enjoyed every minute, and making videos like this for YouTube, it just gives me such satisfaction to see the end product. Lovely.
Okay. Very, very nice. So, and then from this one, we've got some other footage of yours coming up in a minute. The next clip is the one that I said I didn't think was real. When I first looked at it, I didn't actually think this was real and shot from a drone.
Oh, really?
It actually, it looked to me like it was someone doing a shot of a miniature village or something, if you know what I mean.
Ah, okay, yes, this is this part here.
Yeah, let's go and put the next clip on. Let's have a look at that one.
It's funny you should say that, though, because that was the effect I wanted, was like a tiny little village. So, yes, Hurstbourne Viaduct.
Yeah. So this one, according to the info in the description, Hurstbourne Viaduct in Hurstbourne Priors in Hampshire, UK. What is Priors?
It's just what they give villages strange names, like, don't ask me to give you an example, but if it's near a river, it'd be called Ford or something like that. So we've got a place not too far called Chandler's Ford. So a Priors, I think, is just, I think it was an offshoot of like an old stately home. I don't know. I might be wrong there. That's what I think it was. Okay.
Now, when you were shooting this, tell me about what you were doing with your drone and with the camera settings and what you did in post.
Okay, well, most of the effects you can see is in post. What you can see here is just a slow left to right shot. All the effects where you said it looked like a little model village, that was done in post. So it was done like you just blur the top and the bottom of the image and keep the center of the screen in focus, and it gives you that depth of vision, like you're looking on something a lot smaller. So. Now this was a scary bit. This was the first time I ever did a Kent and flew through a bridge, and I made it.
Did you have your sensors turned on or off?
They were on, because there's quite a bit of tree and shrubbery around the bottom there, as you can see.
Yeah.
So I got halfway through and just went right full throttle and carried on through. So, but the end part of that shot was done in post.
Okay. And Spike, what are you thinking of this one? Oh, he's disappeared. Both of them have disappeared. This is... Yeah, Spike, what do you think?
In the new year, but awesome, Kevin. Fantastic effort, mate. Good on you.
Cheers, Spike. Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Yeah, actually, I just want to share with everybody as well. I'm going to do a little video of it. Look at this, guys. That's from my wife. If I can get into frame there, she got me two glasses with I Spike written on them, and that's full of my poison whiskey I've got here, and. So cheers to you, Kevin, and everybody in the chat, all the Huseby drone supporters. Thank you so much. And to you, Greg, as well. Here we go.
Cheers. If I was not in the middle of the show now, I'd go downstairs and get something of my own. I've got a lovely bottle of absinthe downstairs.
I've got some Southern comfort, so we can have a right party going.
Oh, excuse me.
Spike.
There you go. All right. Ripping into it.
Okay, we've got.
It's not going to last very long.
You're a character, Spike. Definitely a character. We've got one final clip from the Itchen Toll Bridge in Southampton. Tell us about this one.
Well, again, this is just off Southampton Waters.
Whoopsie, that's the wrong video. That is the wrong video.
Right again.
There we go. This one will be the right video. One more try. My wife and producer is having a chuckle down there. Let's go with that video. Let's play.
There we go.
So this one, the Itchen Toll Bridge. What is Itchen as the place name, I gather?
It's the start of the River Itchen. That's the River Itchen goes all the way through Hampshire, up further afield, but this is where it starts. So this is the Itchen Toll Bridge in Southampton.
Okay.
You can see Southampton Waters in the background on this shot here. Yes, it was only supposed to be a toll bridge until they paid for it, and it's still charging people today. So there's good government for you.
I love the information that you put in the edit there, Kevin. It's fantastic, mate. You're really good at your editing as well, man.
Oh, it's been a long, hard slog trying to get used to it, and I've always had to sort of dial back the editing to just let the drone footage do the work. And
yeah, is that Final Cut Pro that you use?
It is, yes, with a few little plugins to help, but I do find not doing sort of fancy transitions and trying to keep things to get focus on what you're viewing to tell a story rather than be flashy with it. And,
well done, well said, mate. Letting the drone footage do the work, and you do great piloting skills there, mate.
It's coming on. I'm a bit rusty. I haven't flown all December until yesterday, and I went and met a friend and flew his Matrice for the first time since he did the battery update, so that was good fun. But
cool.
I was a bit rusty yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all practice.
When you say battery update on your drone, like, because Greg is really good and all of his community into, souping up drones and stuff. I don't know if you're aware of that.
This is not souping up. This is not souping up. This is keeping them in the air, because there were certainly some problems with some of those batteries where they were just dying and the drones were dropping out of the air.
But, I've got a story actually about that. And I had a phone call from my friend Ron, who's got the Matrice. I did the update for him because he was struggling.
Yeah.
And he got chance Christmas Eve to fly it for the first time since I updated it.
Yeah.
And the thing landed at 30% battery. No warning whatsoever, just critical battery landing now. Even though his settings were set for 25 for warning, 10 for RTA.
Yeah.
It landed at 30%. So I did a bit of research on it. It turns out it's a problem with this battery update on the Matrice.
Yeah.
It keeps landing. It's not good. DJI need to be a little bit more transparent, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Look, it's been certainly nice having a look at some of your footage, and as Spike said before, please, everyone, do go to check out the channel. Have a look at that. Support him if you think it's interesting enough. Subscribe to him. I'm sure he'd love a few more subscribers, and as do we all. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me on.
And we're going to have a look at Gatwick in a couple of minutes, and I'd love to have you stick around as someone from that part of the world. But before we do that, there is something that we do with all of our guests. When we've got an American on, we play Stump the Yank. When we had someone from France on, we played Squash the Frog. Now, you're from neither of those parts of the world, so we had to come up with something new. So today we're going to play Gong the Pom. So let's just get that. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and today our special guest contestant on Gong the Pom
Gong the Pom
is Kev from our special guest channel today, Driving Drones. Okay, enough of the funny music. Let's get rid of that. Anyway, so I didn't prepare this, and I did send you an email, Spike. I don't know if you got it, and he's disappeared off the screen again. Welcome to the wonders of live streaming. Spike, have you got a question that you can share?
I mean, man,
I did send you an email before, brother.
Oh, look, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking I'm going to be in the chat with nothing to do. And, yeah, you sent me an email. I haven't even looked at my emails.
Pick one. Pick a random one. You can,
oh, gosh.
I know you can do it. You're the Aussie.
Well, yeah, I know. Let me think now. We've had it before, so I'm going to say it again. And I apologise, it's a repeat. But let's see now. If I said to you, Kev, watch out for the trouble and strife, because you might. The wife. Yeah, no, that one.
That one
yeah,
I could have told you he would have known that one. Trouble and strife. That's a Britishy one as well.
Oh, okay, then. Well, I've got to sort myself out because it's getting close to a sparrow's fart.
Okay, what's that one?
It's getting close to a sparrow's fart. I would take it. It's getting sort of close to the edge or something like that, but I don't know that one, to be honest.
Hey, we've gonged the palm, Greg. We've
gonged the palm. Hang on, where's the funky sound effects?
It means a certain time of the day, Kev. Like early in the morning. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up with the sparrow's fart, mate.
Yeah.
We get the early bird catches the worm, that sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah.
Did you say a sparrow's fart, Spike?
Yeah, I did.
Hang on, let's hear that again.
Sparrow's fart.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I can't hear the sound effects. You
can't hear the sound effects. Yeah, I did. Anyway, so moving on from that, I want to talk about Gatwick a little bit. And I did want to have John in to have a chat about this, but so whatever happened this morning. And thank you, Spike, for being our alternate guest for the day.
Oh, so, you're welcome. You're welcome. Scully says good day to everyone as well.
Hello, Scully.
Ho, ho, ho.
Scully.
So let's just have a quick recap of what's happened, what we know. So Sussex police have been told to step aside in the Gatwick probe after questioning if the drone existed in their bungled investigation. So they basically said, hey, we've got no vision footage of this. We haven't seen it. Was there a drone? So around 14,000 passengers faced travel chaos with more than 1,000 flights delayed or cancelled in the run-up to Christmas. A reward of £50,000 was offered by Gatwick Airport to catch the culprit still at large. Now, MPs have called for Sussex police to hand over the investigation to Scotland Yard after arresting an innocent couple and putting them in jail for, I think it was about 36 hours, and officers saying that there may have never been a drone in the first place. But apparently there were 67 sightings between December 19 and 21. The initial trigger for all of this was a report from two airport staff to the tower. Now, what are you hearing, first of all, over there in the UK? Is it still big news over there, or?
Do you know, the press have gone dead. There's nothing coming out about it now. The last we heard, they'd found a crashed drone at the perimeter of Gatwick. We've had no photographs of that. We've had no reports of any photography, film, anything. There was one little shot, and it could have been filmed anywhere, as people have said. It's gone quiet. Nothing's happened.
What, Kevin? What's your take on it, mate? What do you think it is?
Plastic bag.
No. The big picture. The big picture, mate.
The big picture. I don't know. My view is if there was a drone, it was probably seen once or twice, and then everything else has been knee-jerk. That's my own personal opinion. Maybe there was.
So just starting at the beginning, it could have been a plastic bag, as you said a couple of moments ago. That's one possibility. It could have been a single drone. That's one possibility as well. But was there actually a coordinated attack or a coordinated series of drones and commercial drones, as people have been saying? I don't think that happened. I don't think that is absolutely possible.
Do you know what, Greg?
We had one photographer, one professional photographer, who supposedly photographed this drone with, a big telephoto lens. And he was one of the 67 reports they sent in. But when he got back to his studio and he had a look at that photo, he had a look at it under, a little bit closer examination. And he said, no, I was wrong. It wasn't a drone. So if you've got 67 reports from the general public, one of which was from a professional, and even he couldn't work it out, what chance have the other guys got? How do we know that this wasn't just one plastic bag sighting and then everyone else has jumped on the bandwagon and, it's waste of everyone's time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know, Greg, the thing is that they've spent £5 million in the last week putting the security at Gatwick up. So some private companies done really well out of it, but no one's seen this drone, and it just seems to be a big knee-jerk reaction. And the whole drone community has been vindicated and basically said, we've got to stop this from happening again. All this money's being thrown at it, but if it's such a big deal, why have we not heard any more since? It's just complete press blackout now. Nothing happening.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's possible that there was no drone in the first place? And hypothetically, because there was a report, the initial trigger was from 2 airport staff who probably didn't get Christmas off, annual leave, and they said, you beauty, we'll go and phone up and say there's a drone, and all of a sudden we're not going to be working.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, blame the drone.
Look, whatever it is, we don't know. We don't know if it was real. We don't know if it was fake. What we do know is that the response...
Still here?
Yeah, you're here, Spiky.
Yeah, hypothetically, right? And as I said, opinions are many. I reckon it was a terrorist attack. The airport decided to shut down because they had to, because it was scary. A lot of money was having to be thrown around back to the passengers and this, that, and the other. So they thought, well, cop out here could be just a little drone, as somebody's mad ass idea to throw attention away from the bigger picture. Then, of course, there's all those other political things that are going on in England as well, just to throw focus away from that as well. So, I mean, it just went ballistic, and poor old drone and drone world copped the brunt of it. And here we are, lots of programs like us all around the world, a bit bewildered in regards to why drone, because as it's all been said, that there is nothing there. And as I said, the bigger picture is that I reckon it was terrorists.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree, Spike. I mean, it's possible, but no, that could be seen as a conspiracy theory. But no matter what it is, you just ask one simple question: habeas corpus. Show me the drone. Show me the evidence. Now, this one that they've had on the field that was close to the airport that they supposedly found. I had heard that was confirmed to not be recently crashed, right? So there is no evidence. So
set up, cover up.
Did it actually happen in the first place of a drone flying over the airport? No one, until we see the report. And there's another question. Another channel that I watch was having a look at how can they find out and how can they investigate. And apparently the UK Transport Bureau, who administer the towers over there, they have no requirements to comply with freedom of information over there. So that people are going to go and try and do an FOI request, but it's not going to have any effect. They're going to be able to keep their mouth shut and cover it up, because here's what might have happened, right? Just imagine it was these two people going and reporting the plastic bag to the tower. The tower goes up and says, well, I'll go and speak to the general manager, because the tower is going to have some procedures and they haven't confirmed the sighting at that point. But they're going to go and talk to an airport general manager or some other authority, and they're just going to go and close it down. That's all I can say that I personally think happened. But in response to all of this sensationalism, the UK government has now increased penalties for the misuse of drones. But let me ask the obvious question, why? Right? If the penalty was already increased before this incident, would it have changed the outcome?
Yeah.
Right? Or is it just another case of someone seeing another shopping bag in the wind?
Yeah, just reactive, just silly. Really silly. And you know, I thought before I thought about this earlier that you've got Kevin on, and you're talking about the Gatwick, a very yin and yang. We've got Gatwick, negative, and of course Kevin, the positive.
He's positive. He's so positive he's disappeared off the screen again. But anyway, moving on from a little bit, an RAF jet actually came within metres of hitting a drone being flown by a farmer near an airbase. The reporters revealed that the Tornado jet was travelling almost 520 miles per hour when it passed a drone at a distance of just 22 metres from the drone. Now, the jet was flying at the time 10 miles from RAF Wattisham, Suffolk. And it didn't see the smaller flying object. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
This little drone was being used for an agricultural survey. The Tornado jet, travelling at almost 520 miles per hour past the drone. What's going to happen? So the report said,
jet stream,
yeah, absolutely. The report said the proximity of the two aircraft and the fact that the pilot wasn't able to see the drone resulted in significant and largely unmitigated safety risk that recommended that the RAF Air Command use a system to be informed of anyone operating commercial drones near the base. Now, the thing is, if it was 10 miles out, you don't have to get permission.
Yeah, exactly. Not anywhere near the base. I mean, people are really getting their wires crossed, aren't they? They really are.
They are. Yeah. And what was really wrong here was the fact that you've got a RAF fighter jet operating at that kind of altitude. Just if he was at 400 feet, it was only a little bit above that potentially. Crazy.
Yeah. That had nothing to do timing wise, Greg, with the Gatwick at all, did it?
Didn't have anything to do timing wise. So it's only the report that's been recently released. The incident happened previously.
Right.
But one last little thing on the Gatwick thing. Airports across Australia are rolling out new drone scanning technology in a bid to prevent the Gatwick-style aviation fiasco. But again, it's not going to prevent it.
No. Education, really.
If you really want to respond to the threat of drones at an airport, the first question is, what can a drone actually do to a plane? Now, it's obviously undesirable to have any risk when it comes to aviation.
Yes.
But having said that, every time a drone has come into contact with an aircraft in a real-life situation, as opposed to that faked-up wind tunnel thing, right, there has been no death, no damage that's caused an aircraft to, to crash or to have other similar events. So what is the risk?
Yeah, I mean, equate it to a large bird, Greg. It'd be no difference than a large bird in the wild. It's a lot of fabrication, a lot of people being paranoid. I understand that there's millions of people out there with drones and new people getting involved in them, and it is educating those people when they put that little toy up in the air, not so much little, it can be bigger ones, and just respecting that airspace. And I mean, I'm a newbie still. I mean, I've been playing around with drones for about a year now, and I'm still learning all the time. But yeah, it's in your face. It's in your face. It's in the software. It's in the paperwork you get when you get your drone. And it's been going on enough now in the private sector that anybody that's anybody should. It'd be 100% ignorance if they don't know the basics of, the altitude levels, the basics of flying a drone. So with all these other people being so overreactive with laws and trying to squash the hobby and the passion that so many of us enjoy, and the photography side of things, I just think there needs to be some middle ground going on a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, look, at the end of the day, some people are making a hell of a lot of money out of this. CASA in Australia is very happy. They're able to go and convince the government to give them a hell of a lot of money. In the UK, there's a company, I can't remember the name of them. They've gone and, won the right to go and put their counter-drone system in all of the airports over there. But here's the ridiculous thing. Did any of the different drone detection systems that were in use during this whole thing actually detect a drone? And the answer is no.
No. Yep.
There was no drone.
Yep.
Anyway,
I think they need to admit it. But what was the cause of closing it? You know, well, that's the and it will all come.
And there goes the internet again. Okay. Anyway, look, we're going to move on from Gatwick. So the last few weeks we had a competition. By the way, thank you for being our guest today. See you next time, Mr. Driving Drones. It was good to have you.
Awesome, Greg.
Thank you for having me.
Good on you, Kevin. Good on you, mate.
See you, Kev. Thanks for being on. Happy New Year. See you. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year, Greg. Take care. Laters.
Yeah,
Thanks.
see you later. See you later, Kevin. We'll see you early in the new year, mate. See you early in the new year.
Everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Woo!
Okay. So we've just got you and me now, Spike, and thank you again for being the fill-in at 2. By the way, guys, I gave Spike 2 minutes before the show as notice to come on. So he literally had no preparation, no nothing. And he's the consummate raving nutbag, but we love you.
Thank you very much, man. Do you like my new glass? My wife got me this for Christmas. iSpike glass.
It's nice, my friend.
Isn't it?
Let's quickly go on to a couple of other things, and because we're running really behind time. Number one, the competition and giveaways. Over the last few weeks, we had a competition to give away a Stork drop system. This little thing over here, still in the box. I haven't yet had a chance to go and do a demo video of this, but I will be doing that. And that we're going to give that away, so that'll sit underneath a Phantom. We're also giving away a HTML cloner. Now, the plan was to give it away last week, but last week, as you know, I had no internet.
Yeah.
And since that didn't happen, I said, okay, what are we going to do? So we've still got to give it away. But there's one more special. So I want to do an extra giveaway. Now, previously, I had an Osmo mobile that I was giving away. Now, someone won the Osmo, but 30 days have elapsed and he hasn't contacted me. So that means it's back in the prize pool. So here's what we're going to do. Since we didn't have the giveaway last week, and I haven't had a chance to prep it for today, so we're going to do it next week. We're going to have 3 giveaways next week. We're giving away the HTML cloner box, we're giving away the Stork, which will fit underneath the Phantom, and we're giving away the Osmo. So what do you need to do? Number one, you need to go to the videos from episode 38, 39, and 40, and you need to comment in those episodes. You need to comment talking about the YouTubers that were shown in there and say something interesting and intelligent about their videos. I don't want you to just say, I want to win or something like that. I want you to actually watch a bit of the episodes and put a comment in there about the YouTubers that we featured. So that's what you need to do to enter. And if you do that, that's what you need to do to enter to win the Stork or the HTML cloner box. The Osmo is going to be totally separate. You don't need to do anything in advance. You just need to be here next week. The Osmo, no advanced entry for the Osmo. Just be here next week on the show, and we're going to give it away live next week.
Fantastic, Greg. Yeah, so everyone in the chat there, you make sure you heard that okay, and tweet it out, share it with everybody, stick it on Facebook. Greg, Osmo Drone, 3 awesome prizes. All you got to do is watch a little bit, make a comment. If you missed the thing, if you missed these guidelines, we're not asking you to jump through a heap of hoops. Just support Osmo Drone by watching a little bit, putting in a bit of a comment. If you watch back the replay of this and share it with your friends.
38, 39 or 40, those 3 episodes.
Brilliant. It's not much to do, and you can win a fantastic prize. All happening next week. Whoa, 3 of them. Awesome. Awesome.
Okay. So we're getting into overtime. So that's the competition and the giveaways. Before we do anything else, it is now time. We're off to see the wizard. It's time for Explore Australia. The wonderful Wizard of Oz. So let's go and get that video up.
I thought it was almost going to be an Aussie version of the Razman. Whoa, look at that. Oh, dear.
Here we go. So this first clip this week, oh, by the way, as always, these clips are put together by Greg Hilton. I want to thank Greg very much for what he does. This first clip is kite surfing, North Beach, Wallaroo. North Beach, Wallaroo. Have you played around in South Australia, Spike?
Yeah,
you been down there much?
Yeah. North Beach is a nice spot. Yep, it was many years, 30 years.
Oh, he's disappeared again. Located on the west coast of the York Peninsula, immediately adjoining Spencer Gulf, about 145 kilometres northwest of Adelaide city centre. Some beautiful kite surfing and a good way to, you know, mix two different forms of aviation with some aquatic sport as well. Yeah, because you've obviously got to maintain a safe distance from the cables going up to the kite as well. There we go. I'm just imagining you right now, Spike, in your trike being towed by a kite, doing jumps. Looking forward to it. So, as well as that, just if you've got any videos that you want to send in to us, don't forget, upload at gregkuhnert.com, send in a link to your video and we'd love to include some of your footage. This one here is a video shot by Farming From Above 27. Oh, by the way, the first one was Jason Kane, but then moving to this one, Farming From Above 27. The DJI Phantom drone is what's been used for this wheat harvest here today, and this was shot in Victoria. So how are you faring over there in terms of water and drought over in WA? And he's dropped out again. On a positive note, Wirecast is behaving really well today. It's just the internet dropping out. If it's not one thing, it's another. But at least, here's a good thing. I've worked out how to make it so that it doesn't buffer anymore in the show. You may have noticed that we've got different transitions. Instead of doing hard cut from one scene to another, they're kind of smooth. And that's fixed that, yeah. Of the new set of instructions and the new producer. This next video is from Renee Schroeder. And again, Australian grain export. This one's shot on an Inspire 2. He doesn't tell us, unfortunately, exactly where this is located, but I believe this was a commercial video that he's shot. Any New Year's resolutions coming up? I already knew that that's what you were going to say. I was hoping you were. Yeah. This next video is actually from DJI. So they've got the best of their pilots and the best of their creators together, and these are all filmed on an Inspire 2. And this was from WRC Australia 2018. So for those of you And there he goes again. You dropped out for a little bit there, but you're back. You're back in the room. By the way, did you hear this week? I heard that DJI has actually been inducted into the I think it was the Consumer Electronics Hall of Fame for their original Phantom series. Let me... Let me think about that, but first I'm just going to quickly go and share a little bit of stuff. This next one's shot by Jay Parry. This is Australia from above, 8 months in 4 minutes. Looks beautiful. For those of you interested in improving your editing skills, this is a really, really good example of how to do it. It starts with a collection of good shots and then progresses in the process of figuring out what to do and what order to place them all in. It's not as easy as it sounds, and each shot has got its own visual rhythm, and placing shots that complement the visual rhythm next to each other produces a really good flow of movement from one shot to the next. Yeah. You'll know when you've got it right and when you've got it wrong. The flow just jars and bumps around if you haven't got it right, but when it's right, it just flows. The art of placing the cut point for both the in and the out from one shot to the next to create a visual journey, you know, it's really, really cool. A lot of people have got one thing in mind, cut to the beat of the music in the background that you've got, but good editing is a lot more than that, and it's a lot more complex. If you can fit it with the tempo of the music, then great. Yeah. Well, every week we look at these and just showcasing some parts of Australia. It's just absolutely incredible. Yeah. So I want to again thank Greg Hilton. So two things. One, Greg is the compositor, the editor, and he puts together all of these clips. He searches around for the best drone footage that there is out there each and every week, and this is what he's come up with for our show this week. So thank you very much, Greg. Also for some of his analysis, the commentary that I made just a minute ago about this particular last clip in the series, a lot of that came from Greg. And his background was as an ABC cameraman. He used to work for the ABC and shooting professionally. So he definitely knows his video photography skills down pat. So thank you.
Well done to him for all the good work he's done throughout the year.
And there he goes again. So we've got one last clip that we're going to share today. The last clip is Buzzy the drone's last flight. Now this is a viewer video sent in by Safety Fly. Now Spike, you watch Ken's show. You would have seen the Buzzy the drone stuff from Ken's show.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Okay, let's just play this. This is a little bit of a parody and a little bit of fun about Buzzy the drone.
Here he goes. He's going to place the drone. He's going to fly. Yep, he'll be a pro before you know it. Here we go. Higher. High as possible. If this thing doesn't smash and break, I'm going to be disappointed. Here we go. Oh, oh. It's going high. She's chugging, she's chugging. Uh-oh, Petey, Petey. Well, you might be getting struck, Petey. Petey. You might bring home, press the home button. It's gone over the fence. Where is it? Where is it?
It's on the outside of the house. It's gone on the house. It's on the roof.
What?
It's on the roof past the house.
You're kidding.
It's on the other side of the house. It's not in the sky. It was
What?
in the sky. And it was on the gone from the house.
What? I didn't see it either. I was looking in the sky.
It fell down. It looked
You're gonna have to knock on the door and say, "Can I have my drone back?" I can hear it. Where? Where is it? Hey, it's miles away.
Look at the big city. It's the other way around.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So that was Buzzy the drone.
Buzzy the drone. These will make really good educational videos in the future, I reckon.
But seriously, every one of us has, if you're not using something like a DJI product, if you're using a simple basic product, every one of us have had that radio loss of signal at some point or another.
Yep.
And I know that when I got my first drone, my lovely producer and my wife over here to my left, she bought me my first drone and I got too high and it went away. Same as that. And then I got another one, and on the maiden flight for my second drone, I thought I was going to be safe because it had this return to home feature.
Yeah. Cool.
But it didn't work. So that was my second drone. After that, I said to myself, I'm definitely going to get a drone with a GPS that's got a smart, intelligent return to home, and I've not lost one through radio comms ever since.
Yeah, right. Yep. I mean, my first drone somewhere still in the bushes over there. Yeah.
Anyway, look, that's all we've got time for today. That was a great video. Buzzy the drone had an unhappy ending. But before we go this week, a couple of quick announcements. As always, please send in your videos to us, and you can send them to this email address. Don't send the actual video. Please do just send an attachment. If you would like to follow us on the social media platform of your choice, that would be really good. If you'd like to send in anything else, our postal address is 5/127 Princes Highway, Sylvania. And last but not least, don't forget Drone Camp from the 1st to the 3rd of October 2019. The website's there. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different next week, and in fact for the entire month of January. We're kind of going to be on a little bit of a hiatus. A lot of work goes into preparing this show. And I want you to take a peek behind the curtain to see the Wizard of Oz in all his glory. I'm going to be doing a series in the month of January on all of the equipment and the gear and the processes that go into making a live show. But don't forget, also next week, the giveaway is still on next week. Don't forget to tune in for that.
Yep.
So that's all I've got this week for you. It's been absolutely awesome having everyone here today. Spike, is there anything you want to share?
Yeah, just thank you very much, everyone, for supporting Oz by Drone, for supporting myself. And I'm only one more new supporter away from 1,200. So if there's anyone out there that hasn't supported, if you want to be number 1,200, please come on in. Sorry about the plug. And,
no, plug away.
Yeah.
Oh, he was plugging away quite well, and then the internet had other ideas. So look, thank you everyone, and he's back.
I wish you all a happy, safe New Year. If you're drinking, whatever you do, don't do anything because you might spill some. Just drink.
But if you are drinking, don't drink and drive. And thank you for everyone, as always. And definitely have a happy New Year, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, everyone. Ta-da. Yeah.